ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shade. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, outside winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we roll, this is how we do. It's not for everybody but the chosen few. And we pray, cause we know that they might not ever come back. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let's see. Oh, gotta get this a little straight now. We gotta get it a little straight because we are all kind of, you could tell I got the red nose, the dome fever they're calling it. Of course, Chili Bowl fever was a thing. These indoor events, bunch of people in the colder months, the cold months, nothing else. I don't think anything that anyone is feeling is nothing but the common cold, for the record, in my opinion. But we are a little not under the. I feel better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday felt a little to me. Although I kind of felt something Saturday. I don't know if anyone else felt Saturday come Chili Bowl. If it was a little up, down, and around or something like that. But a bunch of things happening. Let's check in on the chat. I wonder if anybody's even in there yet. It is kind of early. Yeah, see, we can't put that stuff on the screen. Wow, people trying to shut the stream down already. Wow, disgustingness. But anyways, we do have a lot of things coming on later tonight onto the channel. We're just going to be kind of briefly going over some stuff that's happened today in the racing world, because tonight it's not going to be really about the racing world and its topics. I mean, there's going to be some stuff to be discussed, but tonight, live, 10 p.m. Eastern, YouTube exclusive here on the Chaz with Jason Feger. So Feger is going to 25 of the whole Carson Hocevar Feger situation. We talked about it the other day. We're probably going to be talking about it tonight and a bunch of other things. I'm very fascinated by the Illinois state politics. Of course, we all know about some other stuff with Illinois state going on right now, but the Illinois state politics of the racing world, I feel like some of the racers themselves could know a lot. You know, we had Tony Izzo on here, and he definitely didn't hold back. So it'll be interesting to talk to the 2023 Mars Late Model Series champion, who obviously, I guess we would call the whole Feger, when we call the Feger Hocevar situation probably the closest thing to some kind of crazy, you know, drama scenario, I guess, ripping the car in half. I don't think he did it on purpose. We're going to ask. I don't think he meant to rip a whole car in half. Of course, some other things that happened at the Dome. Oh, sorry. We almost got our tabs wrong here. Do want to let everyone know, not only tonight at 9 Central, 10 Eastern will Feger be on the show, but tomorrow night, the modified champion of the event, Gateway Dirt Nationals, of Drake Troutman, gonna be on the show. Of course, we talked about Drake Troutman just a little bit last year at the beginning of the season, because I believe that was the guy, or I believe Drake, or Mr. Troutman, or Young Troutman, whatever you want to call him, Little Trout, he had an issue with Lucas Lee at East Bay. I don't know if we'll really talk about that situation. I mean, completing sentences is a whole nother thing in its own. So regardless, though, he'll be on the show tomorrow night, 8 Central, 9 Eastern is the current idea of the scenario. So we're going to try to do some of these talk shows. If there's anything to talk about, these more so talk shows about things going on in the racing world here in the daytime in some form or fashion, you know, could be an 11 or 2. Might want to subscribe to the channel so when we do go live, you get a notification so you can tune on in to catch this style show or rewatch it. You know, I mean, or rewatch it. It's whatever you want to do. Obviously, Gateway Dirt Nationals. I mean, look at this. This is a photo from Aggressive Business Dynamics. Front wheels off the ground for the late models. Front wheels off the ground. Of course, that's Ricky Thornton Jr. And we were dripped out. I mean, we were dripped out for the Gateway Dirt Nationals. That's the look that we had rolling up into the building. Hold on. Oh, we just need to wear these every day. This is that 80s look for sure. Oh, we got these for sale on the website coming up very soon. Kind of working out some of the issues to make that happen. But pretty sure we're going to have those glasses on the website for sale here very, very soon. Now, of course, in the picture, you see the custom belt that I made up, the Ricky Thornton Jr. Undisputed Championship belt that, luckily for everyone in the world, this is kind of what it looked like. It looks like a little bit more of a detailed look that you could kind of see. Of course, atop it, it's got the green gold snake skin look for the main plaque here, or whatever they're calling it, the main metal piece. Super late model, undisputed champion across the bottom, SSI Motorsports, Ricky Thornton Jr. Let's look at some more detail here. Of course, on the left side, right side, if you're facing them, you have this little circle graphic, long live the Chaz, I just kind of need to fill something in here. And then around the ring in orange, of course, one of Ricky Thornton Jr.'s colors, orange and blue, technically. It says 2023 Undisputed Super Late Model Champion of the Dirt World, Ricky Thornton Jr. How about that one? Back to the middle. It's got a lot of reflection in it. And then over here, it's got a SSI Motorsports 20RT Ricky Thornton Jr. And then the same thing in a blue color. And we were lucky enough, Ricky Thornton Jr. extremely liked the belt, wore it out in the intros at the show. I tried to communicate with Ben Shelton and some of these other guys about what was going on, with the belt, but it didn't get through. Rigsby knew, but somehow Rigsby couldn't communicate all the way to get actually what the belt was. They were kind of confused. It was like, they were like, oh, that looks like a custom belt, Of course, Rigsby's going through all kinds of crap right now in a whole nother scenario. But in this scenario, Ricky Thornton Jr. really liked it. I mean, look at the look on his face. I mean, that's just tears to my eyes. I mean, what are we going to do here? Regardless, the race itself, we were there meeting the fans and hanging out. And of course, you know, we were up in the rafters at this point of the event, and the dome was literally lit up from up there. I put this video out, and this is where they had everybody turn their cell phones on. And before these, for the record, before these phones were turned on, you could only see the light structure shooting the light into the spotlight shooting up into the air. Like the track itself, the infield, all the stuff you see in this photo, you couldn't see that prior to all the phones being turned on. So when they lit up all the phones in the dome, it actually illuminated the track and all the things that you see in this frame. It was actually a pretty cool thing to see, how bright things became when everybody turned on their cell phone lights. It's pretty remarkable how bright it actually got. Another thing that was pretty remarkable in this, and we had several discussions. Well, hold on. Besides that, let's get to this. I do want to talk about this. Although people are still freaking out, they're learning about new news that they didn't know about, which that's bad for their own personal, like, I guess, research. Surprised that they didn't know what they're messaging me about, but that's fine. This was an incident with Bobby Pierce. Of course, Bobby Pierce had an incident on the track where he spins out here. This was in a qualifier to get into the show. We had Rusty Slink on the live videos that we were doing at the track. Of course, you see Rusty Slink is the 91 car who suffered some severe contact from the contact or from Bobby Pierce spinning out. And Rusty Slink said he stepped on his dick, which I guess, you know, at this point, why would you not say that if you're Rusty Slink? But something that did happen in this video, we'll play it through just a little bit. I mean, Bobby Pierce is pissed. Now, if you're watching this and you're upset, I mean, honestly, when I originally saw this, I was like, damn, I may not like Bobby Pierce anymore. I ain't seen this type of guy. I mean, he spun out, wrecked the field, and now you're over here yelling at guys who got collected in your own shitstorm. But and like it said over here, I lost a lot of respect for Bobby Pierce tonight, running up on Jason Mills Racing like that over him spinning out. So the unfortunate truth to what happened here, for those who are wanting to hate Bobby Pierce, like I almost was like, fuck, I don't like the guy when I was seeing this. I went into the comments, and as always, the voice of reason is in these comments. You know, you got to dig sometimes. You got to look very deep into these comments to find some kind of understanding. It may have already or went away. Somebody may have deleted it because it made too much sense. Is this a hit job on Bobby Pierce? I literally saw one of the biggest sponsors in super late model racing come in here and explain what happened and what everybody was upset about. Oh my, did they come in here? Or is this a hit job on Bobby Pierce? Did they delete Rationale? Wow. Wow. This may be a hit job. Wow. So I guess I can convey the message. What Bobby Pierce is actually upset about, according to some very good sources, is that when this guy came in here and landed on Bobby Pierce's nose of his car, there was a little bit of they were wedged together on the right rear side of this Jason Mills, whatever you want to call him, car, and Bobby Pierce. At this point right here, Bobby Pierce is pissed off because that guy had started to try to drive back and forth to get unhooked from Bobby's race car, and it was literally ripping and destroying the nose. That the noses of these late models are very expensive. everything that was connected there on the back right side of the car where it had landed on Bobby Pierce's car, he was trying to just go back and forth to get unhooked from it, and it was literally destroying Bobby Pierce's car, basically. And Bobby Pierce is the guy who works on his shit, so when you're literally over there just going back and forth for no apparent reason, you're going to get a reaction like this. I think we could give it some audio here. Listen to this. he was pissed. He was upset. So this guy, as you see right there, is hooked. And see, he's mad. He's like, I can't believe he's doing that. Because from this moment in the video to this moment in the video, good way of manipulating things, or well, I guess it is flow racing, but they just wanted to show how mad Bobby Pierce was. But people like to hate Bobby, so maybe this was a part of the plan as well by Flow. But from that moment that we just saw to this clip right here, there is a segment missing where this guy, like I said, is trying to unhook himself. The cars are hooked together, and it's destroying Bobby Pierce's nose, causing even further damage to obviously a situation that Bobby Pierce was already upset about in spinning out, stepping on his dick, and is very upset about in general. And now this guy was rubbing it in, probably not on purpose, but was rubbing it in by continually damaging Bobby Pierce's nose, which is very, like I said, once again, very expensive in the dirt late model racing. So he was pissed. Now see, if you don't get that context to what just happened here, you're probably thinking Bobby Pierce is a piece of shit, you know, because, I mean, honestly, man, when I saw it, I was like, wow, Bobby got really mad at that guy, seemingly for no reason. After he caused the incident, he's mad at this guy for running into him. Like, that made no sense. But there was a comment that is now missing from this post. It may not be this post, it may be another one, but I thought it was this one that actually explained what happened. And that makes sense to me. So this whole incident that people are losing their minds over, I don't get it personally. I don't get it at all. Back to this photo that I wanted to talk about. We were actually in the grandstands hanging out with some people. Took this photo right here in the top rafters. 30,000 people were here at this event. And probably more than that, who knows if there's insurance reasons to not tell the full amount. But the thing I took away from this situation was very enlightening. I was sitting next to a sprint car guy after this picture here, and we were talking about the different sports in this dirt racing world, the sprint car people to the late model people. And there's so much, and I was explaining, I was like, the reason late models is so much more healthier. There's two pretty good reasons. It's an icon distribution and a wealth distribution issue. So the wealth distribution issue is based on the icon distribution. So in late model racing in the 90s, an icon like Billy Moyer and Scott Bloomquist started taking this thing over, and everybody wanted to be those guys. Those were the stars. Because I had a sprint car guy come up to me. He's like, how are they getting 30,000 people and there's no stars there? And he's from sprint car world, so he don't get it. I go, what do you mean? He said, well, all these people are there and there's no stars. There's no Larson. Casey Kane wasn't there. Tony Stewart wasn't there. There's no stars. How did that happen? And I was like, well, that's because late models and their community don't suffer from Cole-Trickle syndrome. Their stars in the 90s were the Bloomquists and the Moyers, and some other guys too. I'm not as, extremely professed in late model racing. I'm pretty good at modified racing, like the Mark Nobles and Wayne Brookses and all this stuff. But y'all stars that everyone loved to cheer for and show up for and admire and be like were super late model drivers. Those were y'all stars. Meanwhile, sprint car racing used to have stars like that, But then a special set of match tires out of California came along and changed the icon of sprint car racing to the NASCAR driver who came from dirt and literally destroyed the sport from within psychologically. And that's been the icon of the sprint car industry. The Gordons, the Tony Stewarts, the Casey Kanes, and now the Larsons and the Bells. Those are what people cheer and consider stars in the sprint car racing industry. I've got to witness it myself, seeing Larson's t-shirt trailer next to Donnie Schatz's and David Gravel's, and the lines that are 2 to 3 times bigger for him than the other drivers, because they're not considered stars in sprint car racing. That's the star. That's the icon. Because I've also seen Jonathan Davenport and Brandon Overton's t-shirt trailer next to Kyle Larson's, and their lines are bigger. Now, sometimes Larson's is big in late model world, but I've seen Jonathan Davenport and Brandon Overton and these guys, their trailers, the stars of the late model industry, their shit stands a chance to battle. Their lines are right there with them. The only star that may be close to that in the sprint car world is Rico. Now, we also have 2 different communities here, and it's kind of funny because the sprint car guy was like, yeah, man, a lot of people around here, they're pretty rough, pretty rough, they're definitely, they're passionate about this shit, but they're kind of rough. And I'm like, yeah, it's classism. It's classism. Or I'd like to say, and this is why I just thought of it, rich people short man syndrome. And to be honest about it, the person who acts the biggest in the sprint car racing industry is Rico. As far as gratitude and understanding of the privileged position they have in life. So there's a lot in the communities. We were talking, he was like, oh, there's not a lot of girls. I'm like, what do you mean? There's girls who are here. I mean, they're closer to the Dukes of Hazzard girl than the break a nail girl. I guess, in the sprint car industry, we got more break a nail girls. But it's like, these are these are the fans, the types of people that, NASCAR turned away from and sprint car has disconnected from. Because I think, personally, those type of people were supportive of the Sammy Swindells and the Steve Kinsers. That era's died now. We're the Vans group. We're taken over by California. We're the Democrats of the dirt world in sprint car racing. We're out here in Vans and skinny jeans. It's just so amazing to see the disconnection from reality from one sport to the other. And it's in the same scenario or circled dirt area. And the communities are so separate. Now, you got a few that are different in the sprint car world. I would consider Donnie Schatz a little different. A few of these other guys that are different. Some are very humble. David Gravel's a great guy. But overall, when you look at it from the top down, I mean, those are specks of pepper in the salt shaker. Where it's completely the other way around in the late model industry. But then that goes back to the wealth. Why are the wealthy dominating the sprint car industry, but the hard-working, kick-assing guys are dominating the late model industry? There's wealthy people that come up and try to race in the late model industries, but they aren't always very successful. Why are they being resisted so much? Well, back to where the wealth has went. The wealth in the late model industry, because of their icons being Bloomquists and Moyers and super late model stars, their wealth was invested into super late model racing. Because that's what everybody aspired to be. That's where all their money and dollars and cents went, was trying to be that guy. That guy in the late model industry is the super late model racer. Flip it to the other side of the coin. That guy is Cole. That guy is Gordon, Stewart, Larson, Kane. That's the guy. And that's what everyone has spent money trying to be for 30 years. Imagine how many more cars and teams and sprint car powerhouses there would be if all the money from the open wheel dirt world in the last 30 years that was spent on renting this ride or renting that ride or trying to get and trying to get there and trying to do that and trying to maybe get a fucking shot where? To where? Trying to pay all that money to get a shot to the World of Outlaws to be a sprint car star? Or are you trying to be that guy? So this is a part of the manipulation on how the system actually works you. Once again, it's because you're a human being and your mind is your strength. You're not a bear or a lion. You're not the strongest animal on earth. You're the smartest one. So to cage that thing, you have to do it with mental aspects of life. I'm just saying, guys, that's the biggest difference here. It's the icon and the wealth. And the icon, the influence, is what has made the wealth disperse in certain areas and ways. Now, sprint car racing still has stars, I think, but they're second tier. There's no second tier stars in late model racing to other forms. Tyler Reddick is from late model racing. They don't give a damn. Kyle Larson comes in there. Who cares? Yeah, they buy some shirts and stuff, but I've watched Davenport's and Jimmy Owens's and Brandon Overton's lines beat Kyle's. I can't honestly say I've seen that at any sprint car event where the trailer's been on the scene. Pre and post N-word. Pre and post high limit racing. This is not just a new thing because he's giving back with somehow giving by taking and making and doing. I don't get it, but so this is not necessarily a rant to a Kyle Larson fan, but this is or a Kyle Larson in general. This is a rant to the communities as to why we can't do what they just did. We can't do that. Chili Bo's struggling just because they backed out a little bit. It wouldn't matter. He's not even there. They're all there. Their community is there cheering the stars of their industry. We only have one. And then once one goes out, another one will come in. They just breed them. Cycle them up. Speaking of cycles, they're getting them tested at a very young age in those cycles. It's pretty sad. Now, I do think, Rico, probably the closest thing to Kyle there is, unfortunately for our industry, in the sprint car world. I do think if you put wing 410s on the damn track here, because Rico talked about it, if there were sprint cars here, he would come. I do think that if you put sprint cars on this track with some of the momentum and things that we've been, finally, we're 5 of them, and being full is what I think everyone has always, I would think Cody Summers, that's the vision. If you could fill the entire dome for an event, which I think it's 68,000. I'm not sure for factual purposes. They said it's right above 30, but they have the bowl full and they got a section of the top rafters full. This is actually the 4th level, but there is a 3rd level that is covered. You can kind of see it to the left down there. It's kind of got that gray hueish look, kind of where the dust of the track is located. You can kind of see the same color. So I think it holds 68,000. But if you brought 410 sprint cars there winged, so we can actually see some really getting after it fucking speeds, if Rico wants to come there, the one biggest thing that has to change is some kind of fencing. I mean, Abreu Vineyards could potentially sponsor an additional 5 to 10 feet of fencing around the track. I'm sure that's a plausible case, I think, for some people. And I think if you brought 410 winged sprint cars here, with this split with High Limit and Outlaws, it is causing so much controversy and finally getting sprint car racers recognized by other people. The late model people I was talking to them, they're like, I've never heard of this. I didn't know who's Brett Marks? All these people are talking about Brett Marks like he's cool. Dude, I've never heard of Justin. They're just so disconnected. They don't even know. It's almost like we don't know the late model. They don't know any of the sprint car guys. So luckily, this little, and we at least hear about Davenport and Bloomquist and Overton because they have their stars. They promote them, but we don't really have that. They just heard about Kyle Larson for 5 years, and then sometimes they hear about David Gravel. But we do have a chance here, I think, that you could fill this with wing 410 sprint cars, and I think it would really be badass. Now, I hear there's some issues, potentially some speed and insurance issues, but then, hey, if you want to make it still like a give-back event, why don't we do it with 305 sprint cars? Give the little guys, make it an invite only like you do the modifieds. Do 305 sprint cars, keep the speeds down a little bit. Maybe make the racing a little easier to have. I still say that would suck. I want to see 900 horsepower rip around that bitch because the show that would be put on is amazing. I just think it would be. This track is extremely similar to Placerville, which puts on one of the best sprint car races you can watch in person in this world. Or Jacksonville, which the World Outlaws go to Jacksonville and put on one of the best sprint car races you could see in the world. It's one of the best World Outlaw events I've been to is Jacksonville Speedway, a 5th mile, very similar racetrack. So, it would be amazing, and I do think that you would fill this damn bowl up and finally give these sprint car guys maybe a little hope. Maybe, like I said, the 305 thing and do an invite only, the best 305 guys in the country, and then throw some of the bigger names into other car owners, 305 cars, and, you know, like I said, we keep the speeds down and all that, and it wouldn't be that horrible of a show. It would be fun, give the little guy, you know, a little stage as well, because the 305 guys are really good drivers. They just don't have the billions or they don't have the millions to go to World Outlaw sprint car racing, and the money in the sport hasn't been pumped into having race car teams, so we're not properly advancing drivers. You can't have a Ricky Thornton Jr. in the sprint car racing industry. There's tons of Ricky Thornton Jr.'s in the sprint car racing industry. They're just stuck in 305 and 360 sprint cars, and they're not being moved up because the rich people have dominated the sport, because that was all that left due to the wealth that left the sport, trying to pursue these unlogical dreams that only a few people get picked and selected to be. So regardless, there's multiple ways I think that sprint cars could make this. And once again, you bring sprint cars winged. Do non-wing, no one gives a fuck. Winged sprint cars, whether that's a 305, I would say screw 360s, or 410s to this building. 410s, it's more so about the drivers that are going to be there. Whether that is 305 or 410s. If it's 305s, you got to get the bigger names in there somehow. If you do that, this dome will fill. It will fill. And the World 100 and Kings Royal, World 100 is bigger. I know some sprint car people can't handle this or understand how. World 100, with the stars that late model racing have, real stars, they do a bigger number in attendance from the people I've talked to at Eldora than the Kings Royal. Now, what that says is that there's about 30,000-ish people that will go to the World 100, and then there's about 30,000-ish people that will go to the Kings Royal. So that means we got about 60,000 people who will spend a decent amount of money to go to these races separately. I don't think, you could maybe say, okay, let's just say 5,000 of the 30 go to both World 100 and Kings Royal. I mean, I go to both. I don't really see the same people. I go to a sprint car race. I feel like I'm average height sometimes, a little taller than everyone. I go to a late model race, and I feel like I'm in the normal world. And I'm, below average height, or right at it, So, once again, back to the short man syndrome. But I still think it is funny. I think Rico acts like the biggest person in the sport. But I think it could be good. And I think dirt track racing with the sprint car and the late model fan base combined has the amount of people to fill that dome the first time you do it. Don't go and revert to midgets. Sprint car fans don't even like midgets. Sprint car fans may go to the Chili Bowl because that's where Sammy and Steve and Dave used to go. But in today's world, sprint car fans don't like midgets. I know sprint car owners that are getting rid of their midgets in the last 5-6 years. They don't even want them. They hate them. They just hate they hate midgets. They like sprint cars. So the fans are the same. You bring the midgets in there, no one cares. Maybe increase it by 2,000-3,000 people. You bring 410s, winged cars into that facility. 60,000. Done. Easy. And you don't even have to make an invite because the wealth of our sport hasn't been put into it like y'all in the late model industry. And we don't really have, 100 410 sprint car teams that are funded properly to even truly compete here. But you can make an invite still. I think it would be cool. But you bring them. and they will come, and this will be the biggest dirt race ever. I wouldn't 60,000 in attendance break every single dirt track attendance record we have. I know the Bristol dirt race back in 2000 or whatever it was, 1 or 2 or 3. I think that was big, or 2000, 2001. I think they did a 99 version maybe. Was that 50? I think that was 50. Somebody said that was 50,000 that went to those races back then. I would assume that would still hold as the record. I think Knoxville tops out at 26,000. I've heard rumors Eldora tops out at 30,000 if you don't tell everybody who's in the pits. So yeah, this would break it. This would be the record if you would do it. If you do it properly. Let's talk about the sprint car people. Yay, sprint car people. We got one star. Hopefully here. Hopefully. Second tier to Larson, of course. But Brett Marks has officially went to the High Limit Sprint Car Series. And then on the heels of that today, this morning, Jason Johnson's main goal in life was a World of Outlaws championship. It's a goal that Carson Macedo shares as he looks to bring a title to the Raging Cajuns team, Jason Johnson Racing in 2024. I find this weird. I thought that last year was the last year of the Jason Johnson Racing and that it was completely switching to Phil Dietz Racing. I thought that was a thing. Maybe not. I understand why the name and all this stuff that they're still talking about after all these years matters. But I thought this was the first year that it was going to transition to the Phil Dietz, and potentially maybe it is. Maybe it's just a branding situation. But this was the big swinger name that we were looking at as far as who could do it. That would really damage the Outlaws if he went the other way. Hold on. Let me see if this YouTube chat, before I get into this subject. Yeah, chat's very low. We're going to get very interesting on the chat later tonight, I'm sure. But this is the one car that people were kind of doubting. I didn't think I had any doubts. I was saying, like, I made a video that I thought, it's potential due to the Tarleton relations with Kyle that this would be a swing team and go the other way. But then I remember it was like the next day I talked to some people and I came on here and said, it's not happening. He's going Outlaws. It's a deal. But then they delayed for a very long time. They waited a very long time to say officially one way or another. PRI came and went. We didn't hear nothing from the 41 team. Even Jack Dover, I was hanging out with at the Dome. He was kind of, oh, what do you think is going to happen there? I was like, well, I hear it's Outlaws no matter what. Although he is waiting. Regardless, it comes out that he is going to the World of Outlaws. That helps him. That honestly, this saves the World of Outlaws. If the World of Outlaws did not land Carson Macedo, they were just, it wasn't even going to take till next year for the Outlaws to be done. It was going to be this year. If Macedo went to the High Limit this next year, the Outlaws were just done. I'm sorry. I think the buzz, the attention, the fans who are not stupid like they used to be, who are kind of up to date on things, they would see that Outlaw roster, if it doesn't have Macedo on the list, and be like, what am I tuning in to watch? Because it would have just been this is the single, in most people's mind, this is the single idea. This is the person that everyone believes has a shot at challenging gravel next year. That this is the one guy. I mean, obviously Schuhart's got it. He's good. GL Selzy, he's been progressing for 2.5, 3 years now. So is that going to click and just go? So if you didn't get this to challenge him, I thought that the Outlaws were in huge trouble this year. Next year when that charter system year rolls out, I don't know what team's not flopping over to High Limit with the money that's guaranteed. The smart, intelligent car owners, if they're not going to High Limit next year on that final year to lock yourself into a franchisee position to make revenue with the series. I think the Outlaws is probably going to try to do something by next year to maybe change that out a lot. And potentially, I think the Outlaws are going to do something to combat the High Limit charter system. I think they have to by the end of next year or by the end of next year when contracts and everybody's getting thrown stuff on their table, they have to do something. It's very similar to the charter system because the owner's route. I mean, once again, I gave you the economic system of where the wealth is winning sprint car racing. Y'all's owners in late model racing have at least made money because y'all are smart about things. Our owners are they've been just throwing money out the fucking window for so long. It's been living on NASCAR welfare, technically. It's been living on co-trickles. Like the sprint car racing industry tanked because of this icon that took over the sport that they depended on them to even survive. Like, if you would have removed Casey Kane Racing, Tony Stewart Racing, and Kyle Larson Racing a couple years ago, there would have been like 5 cars on the track. Like, they were dependent on NASCAR welfare due to the system and the icon shift and the wealth of the sport trying to be that. It was so insane. It's so insane that these smart people figured it out. Regardless, the charter system is now what these people are going to have to go to because of that situation that they allowed to have happen to the sport. And I don't know how any team is not going to high limit. World of Outlaws is going to have to offer something similar to the charter system come into next year, or it's over. It's just that's my opinion. It's over. Let's look at the YouTube chat before we get out of here. We weren't trying to be on here too long. 410s would whine about the rough track. I don't think so. I think at the Gateway event, the reason the midget people whine is because midgets are always on edge of flipping. They have very small tires, very small cars. They're too light for that surface for a rough track. Winged 410 sprint cars, I don't know. This Matt guy needs to go look at some of the California quarter mile racing. Because the ruts and how the track is over there is insane. Gateway is smooth compared to a place like Stockton or sometimes Ocean or sometimes in any of the tracks over there. They get pretty damn rough. I think with the Wing 410 sprint car, the big rubber, the horsepower also helps the car kind of skate on top of ruts and rough situations. The 410 winged sprint car would have the wider tires to be able to go over in the rough track, dig into the rough tracks, and also would have the speed to be able to spin those rear tires to also fluff over the once again, Matt just saying he would whine about a rough track. You need to go watch Short Track 410 Racing. They're doing it every single week. Lumpo Meat. Oh God, that's probably Spike. Dirt Vision would have lost thousands of subs without Macedo and still might. They still might. Their roster is junk. Outside of, well, it's not junk. Okay, I went to, I mean, in comparison, it is. Let's just be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we had Chase Rodman on here the other day, and they're talking about 18 cars for high limit, and in compare the amount of drivers in that high limit field are just that. I mean, we're gonna find out. I mean, we got Sweet over there to test them, Rico to test them, Brett Marks to test them, and some of these other boys like the Pecks and the Courtneys and these other guys want to be tier 1. They're gonna have some opportunities to do so. But I feel like I can name off, a decent list like I just did of 6-ish drivers, 7, 8-ish drivers that are extremely competitive that could potentially win any given night in high limit that in my mind that I know are winners. I feel like when I name that outlaw list, I start with Macedo, Gravel. Can Schuhart get to their level maybe? Selzy, I believe so, but I ain't really seen so. Donnie, I mean, is he going to start taking HGH, or what does Joe Rogan use to like help himself stay, new and young? Is he going to get some alpha brain? I mean, are they going to go back to Chevys? I'm just sitting here saying, like, who else? Gravel, Macedo, they're up there. Schuhart, yes. Selzy, I believe, but I haven't seen that tier 1 style. And I saw it in the Indy Race Part 71 at Williams Grove all them years ago. I ain't seen it. I ain't seen Gravel Macedo level out of Gio. I hate to say that. It sucks. I'm sure he's pissed off about it too. I'm sure there's other things besides just him that causes that, but whatever. I'm sure there's other things that causes Donnie to not be, dominant like he once was. I don't think it's necessarily him. Little Hod. Are we putting Little Hod and Justin Peck are the same to me? Almost. Little Hod and Tyler Courtney. Yeah, retract the message. Little Hod and Tyler Courtney are comparable, right? I mean, the World Outlaw roster is garbage compared to... It just is. It just is. This is year one. This is year one. Oh, my God. Cole Trickle's coming to take over the whole game. I was trying to tell Johnny Gibson about this in 2015. I was saying, man, we don't need to be working with these... It's really bad that the whole sport is loving these NASCAR guys in it. It's not good. These other guys need to be your stars. We gotta start pushing these guys more than those guys, or something. You know, what if they get bigger than the sport and then they take y'all out? Tried to say it last year at Jackson. Hey, I mean, you got to be nice to these guys. No, the brand. But just like with the Titanic, God himself cannot sink this ship. Here comes that high limit iceberg. What happens to World Outlaws chest beaters stature if high limit drivers are in the top 5 in points after 4 nights in Volusia? Bro, that is actually more than likely going to potentially happen. Honestly, that's a reality. That could actually happen, guys. Seriously. Wow. And then if James McFadden, like I'm hearing, goes to that 11 car and goes high limit, bro, Roth better hurry up with that Buddy Kofoid Outlaw announcement that I don't know is happening or not. That's what I hear. That's what the old grapevine says, but we ain't seeing or hearing. So, anyways, we got some stuff we have to do today, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to tune in and give a little bit of an update. Once again, tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Jason Feger coming on the show. The issue with Hocevar. All these different things. The Illinois situation. Illinois State situation that we all have to talk about. The politics, very interesting. I'm curious of his opinions on Chicago. It's going to get good tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for that one. I got a lot of stuff I got to go run and do. Actually, right now, I'm actually getting close to being late. But stay attention tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be live tonight. And then tomorrow, we're actually going to have Drake Troutman on, the modified winner from Gateway. So that should be a good show as well. That's going to be at 8, 9 o'clock scenario. If news comes out or if I have something to say, I'm thinking I'm going to do these more so just me sitting here talking about things during the daytime, and then potentially these talk shows later at night. I am talking to some other guys, try to get them on here before the end of the week. Christmas is next Monday. I already got one person trying to have me go meet up with her at a hotel to get her, give her a present. You know what I'm saying, boy? They need the glasses in the house, boy. They need the glasses to show up and show out. That look was just a little bit too much for him, boy. That look was just a little bit too much for him. Look at this. They already DMing. They already like, can you meet me at the Marriott this Thursday? I want a Christmas present, blah, blah, blah. Look at that. They did it, boy. It did it. Look at that look. Look at that. It did it, boys. Get your hair out. Oh, we got comb back. They don't want this. Oh, God, we got to put a hat on it. Oh, God. Got to do it right. It ain't about the style of the hair. It's the motion of the working of how you do it up. Because you can make anything work. Anything work. That's what she said. But then they lied and they got rid of you, didn't they? Yep. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the video, comment below, share it around. And hey, memberships down here. Get your name up there. Maybe we got some t-shirts. About to add these shades to the store on the website. So if you want to get one, get your invite to a Marriott. I mean, hey, we meant to start you off at a Sheraton, but it's working for me, buddy. It's working for me. But I don't know how you. Never mind. I ain't gonna be cocky. I could be way worse. I could be way worse. We can't all have umbilical cords wrapped around our neck to sever the nerves on one side, and all of us have this Sylvester Stallone kind of, yo, Adrian, look, not everyone's lucky. I don't think that's lucky, but I mean, it makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd. So, hey, sometimes that is beneficial in today's society. But the Heat Miser. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central for Jason Feger here on the Chaz. And be with the Pygmies in New Guinea. Catch you next time.
As long as we make the show, we can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. Telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play. Life in the bright lights with no shade. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly. Tossing her in sideways, living the life. Letting her ride, outside, winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line. Cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we roll. This is how we do. It's not for everybody but the chosen few. And we pray, cause we know that they might not ever come back. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. As long as we make the show, we can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be shades. Letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways.